Hello, and welcome to the CDO Magazine interview series. My name is Patrick Martin. I'm a business development manager for Lingaro, and we are partnering with CDO Magazine, MIT CDO IQ, and the International Society of Chief Data Officers in a series of interviews. Today, I have the pleasure of talking with Dan Merzlyak, who is the head of business analytics and sales insights for the London Stock Exchange Group, and looking very forward to this. A good combination of corporate positions as well as consulting positions with companies such as Kerberos, Capital Management, PwC, E&Y, and now the London Stock Exchange. Tell us how your career experiences have positioned you for your current leadership role as Global Head of Business Analytics and Sales Insights.
Great. Thanks, Patrick. It's really nice to speak with you as well, and thanks for having me on for the chat. I'm looking forward to our conversation. So, as you mentioned, I began my career in analytics management consulting with the Big Four, where I was exposed to a variety of different industries and spent time as an individual contributor and team leader, creating analytics strategies and tools. I then went on to work for Kerberos Capital Management, a private equity firm based out of New York City, in their commercial operations group, where I spent time inside of portfolio companies serving in interim roles in operations and analytics functions to maximize our investments. And finally, I landed over at what at the time was Refinitiv as the head of business analytics and sales insights, where I run a global team of business intelligence directors and data scientists responsible for reports, dashboards, and analytics to our leadership team and the sales and account management organization. We very recently went through an acquisition by the London Stock Exchange Group. And as of last month, actually, Refinitiv is officially part of LSEG. So that's how I got into my current role. I think I bring a unique perspective to our operations group here because I spent a lot of time being in the weeds, building data flows and processes. And so I know how the sausage is made, but I also focus on driving value with the business end goal in mind. I think a lot of time in the industry, people start with the data, and I don't really think that's the best approach. And I think that's largely shaped by my prior experiences being focused on driving business value first. You should always start with the business problem you're trying to solve and the stakeholders you're trying to influence. And then, get the problem structured, work backwards to the data set to make sure it's created the right way and the analytics are crafted in such a way that they're able to service the use case at hand. But data ultimately is only as good as its ability to drive value. And usually that means operationalizing it into workflows, enabling self-service, and really making sure that business users understand both how and why they're doing something.
Excellent. Your role is a very transformational position. The term transformational means a lot of different things to different people. What does it mean to you and to the LSEG group?
Yeah, as you said, transformational is a word that means a lot of different things depending on who you ask and the context. To me, being transformational in my environment means to implement data-driven decision-making through the right metrics, which is as much a cultural change as it is the creation of the right reports and dashboards.
Absolutely.
So for me, when I build new tools, try to guide people to a single source of truth for their use case. I always try to make sure the analytics I'm trying to evangelize, so to speak, are better than the current state. So what value add am I bringing to what they have in the ecosystem today? So, often it's a combination of standardization across the enterprise, data integrity, different views and abilities to slice and dice the data, and then ultimately prescriptive insights into how to use that data to drive the next best action. So explainability and transparency to drive people towards these new changes is important to making sure people aren't just changing because they have to, but really because they want to. So, one example I'll talk about is, how I've been able to accomplish this transformational thinking in my current organization is, really by using data to guide meaningful conversations. So, what we did is we exposed client retention data in our executive reports and dashboards by win-loss reason, which enabled our account managers and sales readiness teams to hone in on why a customer is canceling our services, and then creating more customized go-to-market strategies when talking to customers that tend to cancel a certain way with preemptive solutions to their needs. Whereas before we were showing this data, these customized approaches weren't really feasible because the visibility of the granular data and the summarized insights highlighting the top loss reasons were not available. So, I think ultimately in order to get transformation accomplished, you need people and processes in place. And both of these are important drivers of getting transformation moving. And I try to make sure they're aligned in the right way when approaching a new business challenge.
Excellent. I like what you said about the why. I think that is so important, especially when you're talking about the organizational impact and why people are doing it. So excellent.